This story takes place one summer in Bangkok, Thailand, about 3 weeks after I arrived as a participant in an international exchange program. It is ultimately about respect for other cultures and some lessons you only learn the hard way. My name is Maya, and along with 19 others from all over Southeast Asia, I was enrolled in a university right beside the Chao Phraya River. But it was the week of the Buddhist New Year, Songkran, so classes were suspended. Most of the students in our dormitory on Boromara Chachonani Road, Talingchan district, had left for the holidays, heading back to their home provinces. The halls were quieter than usual, almost abandoned, an eerie kind of quiet. It was 20 minutes past midnight when the first knock came, loud, urgent, persistent. My Indonesian roommate, Ayu, had already drifted off to sleep, her breathing deep and even. I, too, had been lying in bed, one arm slung over my forehead, my mind caught in the restless haze between wakefulness and sleep. The knocks startled me upright. Someone was at our door. I frowned. Who could be visiting this late? The few of us left on this floor were all girls. No one ever came knocking unless it was important. Had someone run out of toothpaste? 12 knocks in total, fast and heavy, reverberating against the thin walls. It should have woken everyone, but the dormitory remained unsettlingly silent. Beside the door was a frosted glass panel. Through it, I saw a silhouette crouched just beyond the threshold, not standing, crouching. A strange posture. I hesitated, my fingers hovering over the locked doorknob. "Who is it?" I called. No answer. Then, a woman's voice erupted, speaking rapid, frantic Thai. But the sound wasn't coming from behind the door. It was coming from everywhere. Above me, behind me, next to my ear. I stopped breathing. The voice, excited, desperate, rushed through 3 full sentences before suddenly ceasing. The silence that followed felt as thick as wet cement. I turned sharply back to the door, but the silhouette was gone. No footsteps, no retreating presence, just gone. I stood there, my pulse hammering in my throat. The walls of the dorm were so thin that sound usually carried, yet now the emptiness felt absolute. My instincts screamed at me not to turn around, not to let my eyes wander to the corners of the dimly lit room. Somehow, I managed to force myself back to bed. I didn't wake Ayu. What would I even say? I lay stiff under the covers, eyes wide open, waiting for something, anything, to happen again. At some point, exhaustion won. The next morning, I woke up before Ayu. She blinked at me in surprise. She always woke up first for her morning prayers. Something in my expression must have unsettled her. I told her what happened. Her face paled. Without a word, she pulled out her prayer mat, knelt, and began whispering supplications under her breath. I woke the other girls on our floor and told them too. The reactions varied. Shrey, the only Cambodian, stiffened visibly, while the Filipino girls, Jessa and Nadine, exchanged uneasy glances. The Vietnamese girls, Lien and Trong, were calmer, though their hands fidgeted as they listened. The eldest among us, Kanya from Laos, wasn't there. She was visiting her sister. It was a shame. Kanya had once told us her home was haunted by spirits that shook her bed at night. I had a feeling she would have known what to do. The boys in our program didn't seem too concerned, though one suggested placing a Buddha image in our room. Somchai, also from Laos, patiently showed me how to properly pay respects to the Buddha statue at the dorm entrance with a full bow. I imitated his movements carefully. I wish I could say that was the end of it, but it wasn't. That night, Ayu and I parted ways after dinner. She went back to our room to pray and work on her thesis, while I lingered in the lobby with the others. About an hour later, she came running down the stairs in full panic. "Maya! Maya!" She crashed into me, her body trembling violently. "What happened?" I grabbed her shoulders. "Talk to me." Her breathing was erratic. I was asleep, but I woke up because someone was whispering in my ear. A cold weight dropped in my stomach. "In Thai," she continued, voice shaking. "Rapid Thai, just like what you heard." And she stopped, eyes brimming with terror. "And what?" I urged. She swallowed hard. I saw a lock of white hair across my chest. We were all terrified at this point. Some of the Catholic girls whispered prayers, while others, who followed Buddhist traditions, murmured their own protective chants. Meanwhile, Somchai, who understood Thai, spoke to the few remaining Thai students in the dorm. Strangely, none of them were surprised. "If the woman had white hair and visited you," one girl said in English, "then she is the building's Chayoti, the spirit guardian." My skin prickled. "She visits the residents from time to time, but she has never harmed anyone." They gestured to a wooden beam outside a nearby restaurant, wrapped with strips of colorful cloth. "Those are offerings for the Chayoti that protects that land," they explained. "Many places in Thailand have one." I had seen those cloth strips all over Talingchan. I had just never thought to ask what they were for, but one question still haunted me. "Why our room?" I asked. "Why is she coming to us?" The Thai students exchanged glances before one of them hesitantly asked, "Did you ask for permission to stay?" My stomach turned. "Permission?" "Yes," she said simply. "Before you stay somewhere new, you must ask permission from the Chayoti." Ayu and I looked at each other, dread settling between us. We were the only ones on that floor who didn't know the custom. Every other girl had grown up in Buddhist societies where this was common practice. They had all asked for permission, either out loud or in their thoughts. We hadn't, and she had noticed. Ayu and I mustered every ounce of courage we had, climbed the stairs to our room, and stood just inside the doorway. Together, we bowed our heads. We spoke in our native languages, pleading for understanding, asking for permission to stay. We didn't know if she could understand us, but we hoped that sincerity transcended words. That night, there were no whispers, no knocks, no white hair. She never appeared to us or anyone else on that floor again. And when it was time to leave, we made sure to thank her profusely. I have never entered a new room without asking permission ever since. Some traditions, it seems, exist for a reason.